the craziest transfer windows that we've ever seen with, breathtaking transfers that we never expected. But of course, we count down to what could be later today, towards 11 p.m., when the transfer markets are officially shut in England, 5 p.m. in places like Germany, and wait to see if we can still get a big move. Kylian Mbappe's future is still up in the air. Will he leave PSG to go to Real Madrid? That is a big question. We're wondering and we're waiting. Welcome to Sports Bank this morning, reaching you live from the Integrity Dial, Splash 105.5 FM. It's great to have you join us again this Super Tuesday morning on the show Sports Bank. My name is Blessing Fowowe. Feromi is also joining me in the studio this morning, and I'm wondering if Feromi is thinking maybe we'll see one more big move today.
Yeah, good morning to you, Blessing. Good morning to a wonderful listener out there. It's good to be back. I mean, I really wish to at this point in time because, like you rightly said, it's been really, really crazy. It's been really, really entertaining this time around in the world of transfer. I mean, how come you forgot to mention the likes of Ben White? I mean, the likes of Lokonga.
How many names I won't mention?
I mean, you why did you take that out?
How many names I won't mention?
You guys put that on.
Big moves.
Oh, so those ones are not big. Ben White came for how much? About 50. I said he's not big.
Pick your point.
Come on now. But then I'm actually looking forward to that, a massive one. Maybe eventually, Kylian Mbappe might just be a Galactico eventually with the way it is going at this point in time. And it's looking like PSG had them at this time. But I feel they should be wise about this. I think they should be very, very, smart about this decision because at this point in time, according to the report that I got yesterday, I think Real Madrid are coming again with about 200 at this point in time, and it's still looking like they don't want to take it. And trust me, if they don't, this man will just become talking about Kylian Mbappe. The club also will be patient until his contract runs out, and they'll definitely get him for free. Because one thing I can actually say is the fact that Kylian Mbappe is not looking like he will sign a new contract there. I think his mind is actually made up about leaving PSG, and he wants to actually leave at that point in time. So I think it's just going to be wise for them to actually get the money and let him go at this point in time. But will it happen?
Do you think it is wise for Real Madrid to keep increasing the offer, hoping that they will accept, knowing that they can get him for free? Get him to sign by January.
Yeah, I think Real Madrid are just being they are just playing a smart one on PSG because they know maybe they don't want to actually leave him, and they are just trying to pressurizing PSG to just eventually let him go. But they know that okay, if you don't agree our money offer, then we just have to wait. Then we just have to get the money at the end of the day. I remember out of this deal, they still have to pay Monaco, talking about PSG, some certain amount of money that they actually agreed with at that point in time. But eventually, I still think if they don't let him go now, they will eventually let him go later, and it's just going to be the case of maybe Lionel Messi leaving Barcelona without collecting a dime money.
Indeed, it could just be. Are you a friend of ours on our Facebook fan page this morning? You can go on there, search for Splash FM 105.5 Ibadan. First of all, you're streaming live. Catch us live in the studio this morning. And I'm wondering if there's one transfer you want to see before the end of the transfer window. What signing, what movement will that be? Go on there on our live stream. Leave your comment and let us know. Of course, do remember to share and invite your friends to catch us live on Facebook this morning as well. So we're talking about the transfer windows, looking down to the next couple of hours, what surprises it will spring up, and also looking to see, where Kylian Mbappe's future will lie at the end of the day. But before that, let's get into tennis real quick. US Open 2021 has begun, and former world number one Simona Halep made a winning return to Grand Slam tennis after the injury with a straight set victory over Camila Giorgi at the US Open. The Romanian, who missed this year's French Open and Wimbledon, will, with the calf tear, beat the Italian 6-4, 7-6. Defending champion Naomi Osaka claimed a straight set victory at the US Open on her first Grand Slam appearance since withdrawing from the French Open. The Japanese third seed ground down Czech number 87 Maria Buskova for 6-4, 6-1 first round win. And up next for her will be Olga Danilovic. Two-time major winner Gabriel Muguruza claimed a 7-6, 7-6 victory over Donna Vecic, while Sloane Stephens had to battle past American Madison Keys 6-3, 1-6, 7-6. I mean, that was an impressive performance from Sloane Stephens. I was following that game up to a point yesterday where it felt like she was going to lose out. Hey, she had to come back. And up next for her is a tie with compatriot Coco Gauff in the next round. Coco Gauff defeated Poland's Magda Linette 5-7, 6-3, 6-4 to make it to the next round. And Aya Sabalenka made it to the next round as well. And Elena Svitolina also made it to the next round. And Victoria Azarenka is also through to the next round. Angelique Kerber came down from 3-5 to also make it to the next round. And for world number 1, Ashley Barty, she will begin a campaign later today. But in the men's category, where we had one of the biggest ties yet, that was between Andy Murray and Stefanos Tsitsipas.
Yeah.
It's not as if I'm surprised about the result. Stefanos Tsitsipas won, by the way, but it is what Andy Murray is saying about that. He says he has lost respect for Tsitsipas. Why? Tsitsipas it took lengthy bathroom breaks in between that game. He said he was cheating.
I mean, how do you say that is cheating? I don't understand where Murray is actually coming from. I mean, the question is it actually part of the game to actually take a timeout? I think it is. Is it actually part of the rules of the game to actually have a stipulated time for you to take a timeout? It is. So as long as he has actually followed the rules and the code of the game, I don't think he has actually done anything wrong. As long as he's still there, he's still doing his job on the court. I think it's just part of the tactics to some extent, and I think he should have actually prepared for it. That is what I'm really actually prepared. He felt that it was actually getting the first 2 sets of that particular one before Tsitsipas actually came back, and he actually needed to actually take that break just to ease the pressure and hold that, and it actually worked well for him. You could have actually prepared well for things like this coming into this kind of a very huge Grand Slam. You should know that those big guys will come up with any tactics, and you must be ready to withstand it. So I think saying that he has actually lost respect for him, I don't think his respect has actually handed Tsitsipas anything, or will he ever do anything to actually make him better or less better than what he has actually done yesterday. So I think it is just what it is. He just have to come back again and try as much as possible to do better. But Tsitsipas, fantastic game he had yesterday.
Fantastic game he did, and you're waiting for Andy Murray to indeed come back and try to get himself back on track. But do you think he should retire at this point? For
me, I think it's getting worrisome for Andy Murray, because he keeps struggling with the injury. He keeps struggling with those injuries of his. It's been about 2 years now, and he still keeps struggling with this injury, though he has actually shown a lot of resilient attitude, a lot of no-die attitude that I can still do this, I can still come back. But hey, it's looking like this injury is not actually letting him go at this point in time. So maybe one more try, and if things doesn't actually cut out for him, I think you should just call it quits, as far as I'm concerned.
As far as Feromi is concerned, one more try. If it doesn't work, then please go home, he's saying. 5th seed Andy Rublev also claimed the straight-led victory to make it to the next round. Marian Cilic exited the tournament, maybe the surprise of the early stages from first day there in the US Open, and Philip Kohlschreiber advanced to the next round. South African Kevin Anderson equaled his career best tally of aces by firing 49 past Jiri Vesely to wrap up a 7-6, 4-6, 3-6, 7-6, 7-6 victory in 4 hours and 22 minutes. I mean, Anderson was stretched in that particular game. Away from tennis, let's talk basketball, Afro Basket, where the Tigers are in action today. They're playing Uganda in one of the 2021 Afro Basket quarter-final qualifying matches. Now, there's a change in how things has usually been. The Tigers, they didn't clinch the automatic qualification ticket, and meant that they had to play a qualifying match to make it to the quarterfinals, and this game is against Uganda today. That game against Cote d'Ivoire, I thought we had no business losing that game to find ourselves in this situation in the first place.
Yeah, you can actually say that again. I think we didn't do enough. I could remember I was saying it that if you meet a much more tactical opponent, how do we actually respond to them? And we actually saw that against the Ivorians. I mean, it's not as if those guys were heads and shoulders better than us. They just actually did the right thing to actually get the game on.
Because we took our foot off the gas.
That's just it.
We've been cruising the first two
definitely
games.
You will actually get to the point in the first quarter, the second quarter, and all of a sudden you just felt you actually got the result, and you actually relaxed, and your opponent took advantage of that. You don't actually do that knowing fully well that whether we like it or not, we didn't go there with our full powerhouse right there in the world of basketball. And at this point in time, they must try as much as possible to stay fit and stay consistent for the whole of all the quarters if you want to go far in this one. If they don't do that, trust me, they would actually be hot like the Ivorians did. So I think that is just what they need to do. Reduce your turnovers, because they're still getting that again this time around. They need to make sure that those turnovers are being reduced at this at this particular tournament, and make sure they actually get their threes right. It's very important as well. And once they do that, don't take your foot off the pedal. Keep going until you actually win the game eventually.
Okay, keep going. They lost to 7-7-68 to the Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire on Sunday to lose out on the automatic ticket to quarterfinal. And that result meant that they now have to face Uganda, and only a win will guarantee them a spot in the quarterfinals. I'm just wondering, what if something the unexpected happens, and when we lose to
The
Uganda?
expected has to happen.
The expected has to happen indeed, because Uganda lost their opening group game 93-55 to Senegal before they narrowly lost to South Sudan in their final game, but bounced back to beat Cameroon 80-66. And I hope that we won't look at them as maybe one small team to Nigeria and just go out there. But Mike Brown, the coach, says he hopes that the experience of losing to the Ivory Coast will spur the team on to do better against Uganda. And indeed, we are hoping that happens. And should the Tigers get a win against Uganda, they will face Cape Verde in the quarterfinals. So Senegal, Cape Verde, Tunisia, and Ivory Coast have picked automatic tickets to the quarterfinals, while Cameroon, Mali, DR Congo, Central African Republic all crashed out from the group stages. Okay, so all the best to the Tigers, and to from one national team to another, to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We're getting ready for the double-header qualifying World Cup qualifying matches that we have, and right now we have players who have joined up to camp. Camp opened yesterday. We have about 24 players in camp right now. William Trustekong, Leon Balogun, Olai, Tyrone Eboye have all joined the Super Eagles camp yesterday, increasing the number of players in camp to 24. And earlier in the evening, Maduka Okoye, Terem Murphy, Jamilu Collins, Valentine Ozowanfo, and Innocent Bonke breezed into the team's Eco Hotel camp. And the Super Eagles will have their first official training at the Teslim Balogun Stadium today. Janot Ross Chargers will face the Leon Stars of Liberia on Friday at the Teslim Balogun Stadium. And 4 days later, the three-time African champions will slug it out with the Blue Sharks at the Estadio Municipal at Derrito Sena in Mindelo. These are the players in camp. The goalkeepers, Maduka Okoye, there's Francis Uzo, Daniel Akpe. Defenders we have Jamilu Collins, Valentine Ozowanfo, Shehu Abdullahi, Adekunle Adeleke, Kenneth Omeru, William Trustekong, Leon Balogun, Olaino, Tyrone Eboye. For midfielders we have Wilfred Ndidi, Ogene Karo Etebo, Alex Iwobi, Samuel Kalu, Moses Simon, Kingsley Michael, Innocent Bonke. The strikers, Kelechi Hanacho, Terem Murphy, Ahmed Musa, Chidera Ejuke, and Henry Onyekuru. I think we must have learned a lesson from playing from what we did last year in this particular game going into this.
I hope so. that's just the word. That's just it. I just hope Gernot Tro must have actually learned 1 or 2 lessons, because at this point in time, you don't want to actually give Nigerian excuses. They don't want your excuse at this point in time. They still believe, or will still believe, that these players are quality players for you to get the needed result against this opponent of yours that we are going to be up against later this week. So I think it needs to make sure it fix all lapses in that particular Super Eagles team, and make sure that you get the best out of that team. I mean, a sad one, Akoguma is actually out due to COVID-19, but I still feel we've got enough quality in that defense department to still be able to get the needed results, solid results in that particular one. So I think Gernot Tro, just go out there and make sure you get all the needed points. There is no excuse this time around. You have to get the results, and that is very important to Nigerians. That's just it.
That is just it, getting the result. This game is going down at the Teslim Balogun Stadium. I think it's the first time in a long while we're having a World Cup qualifying match at the Teslim Balogun Stadium. And speaking of stadiums, the remodeled Lekon Salami Stadium at Damasingba will be reopened tomorrow. It's set to be commissioned by Governor Sheyi Makinde of Oyo State tomorrow. That's tomorrow evening, 1st of September, with special matches scheduled to test run the facilities in the stadium. Shooting Star Sports Club of Ibadan will play the inaugural match against Slovenia's first division side, NK Tabor Cezana, as part of festivities marking the reopening of the 33-year-old stadium. Now, according to the special advisor to Governor Sheyi Makinde on Culture, Tourism, Ademola Ege, during a tour of the facilities yesterday, said that it will be a top revenue generating source for your state government and means of generating employment opportunities for the people of the state. And this is what catches my attention: revenue generating. I think that has to be good, really.
Yeah, definitely. One major thing that you want to gain out of all this money you've actually spent on this kind of stadium has to be the fact that you want to generate revenue on the long run. But I'm still looking forward to let me say blueprint on how you intend to actually generate that revenue, because that is very, very important, for everybody to actually see. Let's see what you have in stock, how you intend to actually start generating that revenue, because I don't want to believe they want to generate only revenue from gate takings. I don't want to believe that. So I think there should be other ways that you must be put in place to make sure that those revenue are being brought in place. And talking about job deployment as well, I think maintenance, a lot of people would actually come in place to actually be in charge of maintaining that particular stadium, and one way or the other, that's one way of actually generating jobs for people out there. So I think all in all, a very fantastic project. Hopefully it actually lasts longer than we used to have in Nigeria.
The last couple of months we've seen the president of the Nigerian Football Federation come around the stadium, and I'm wondering, could we possibly be hosting a national team? Any of the national team sides? Who
says we can't? Apart from the fact that the stadium is now more like a standard one at this point in time. The environment is conducive as well. It's accommodating for
capacity.
Maybe that could be a major a setback, but I still feel if all things being equal, we can still host the Super Eagles of Nigeria right here.
Super Eagles,
definitely. Who says we can?
Super Eagles.
Who says we can?
In an official game.
Who says we can? Game? Maybe a friend. We can start with a friendly. Then maybe the under 17, the under 20, and all that. But I still feel we can.
Okay, let's talk transfer deadline day over there in Europe. 11 p.m. in England, 5 p.m. in Germany. I think in Spain as well. And we're wondering, waiting to see if we're going to see what will be, another breathtaking transfer movement. Remember this window already? We've seen Messi move, we've seen Ronaldo move, amidst other big names. Olivier Giroud has moved. Wijnaldum has moved as well. Surprisingly, I should say, especially for Ronaldo and Messi, who would have thought in this transfer window we see one of two of the biggest football stars ever making moves. But hey, Willian to Arsenal. Willian terminated his Arsenal contract. He reached an agreement to terminate his contract, saving Arsenal about £20.5 million. And also on Instagram yesterday, we saw Ainsley Maitland-Niles practically begging Arsenal to please let me go, let my people go. Basically, let me go to where I'm loved, where I'm wanted, and
where I can play
first in football. What is going on with Arsenal? Let's take a break to join our partners at the BBC for the BBC Premier League update. We'll talk about that when we return. Stick around.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Jordan Elgott at the BBC Sports Centre. Arsenal have confirmed that they have mutually agreed to terminate the contract of Brazil winger Willian. He'll be rejoining Corinthians in his home country. Well, Arsenal have lost their opening 3 league matches of the season to Brentford, Chelsea and Manchester City without scoring a goal. Former Premier League striker Chris Sutton admits that time is not on manager Mikel Arteta's side, but says no rash decision should be made on his future.
The next game's massive for Arteta, and we know that in the Emirates, if things don't go well, the crowd are going to be on him, and it will be a problem. This seems to be a big bone of contention with a lot of the Arsenal support saying he's spent money, but you have to give him time to let these players bed in, don't you?
Leeds United are closing in on a club record $41 million deal to sign Manchester United winger Daniel James. Manchester City have confirmed that Ruben Diaz has signed a contract extension. With more details, here's our football reporter James Gregg.
Diaz has extended his contract at Manchester City until 2027. Of course, he plays for Portugal, does the defender Diaz. He's only 24. He joined City from Benfica on a 6-year deal in September 2020 for around $70 million. He helped City win the Premier League and the Carabao Cup, and he reached also a first Champions League final for the club with them last season. He was named Men's Footballer of the Year by the Football Writers Association here in the UK, and also Premier League Player of the Season. He made 50 appearances in all competitions. He's impressed mightily, and this new contract will just fend off any potential offers that may have come from other members of Europe's elite.
And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Okay, who is asking for more time for Mikel Arteta to allow those players jail? I mean, how much time will he be given? Arsenal rock bottom of the Premier League table after 3 games. Worst start in 67 years.
It's terrible. No points, no goals scored, and you're asking for more time. Trust me, if it takes a draw against Norwich in the next game, I think he should get sacked, because that's the truth. Because I don't feel he needs any more time. They say trust the process, and I ask myself, what is the process exactly? He's not showing any glimpse of hope in that Arsenal team, and it's not as if the quality is that good, but it's not that bad for them to be rock bottom of the Premier League table. I think that's just where the problem is. How are you trying to actually make things happen? And aside from the fact that he has technical, and tactical deficiency, his man management skill too is terrible at this point in time, and everything together is what is actually affecting Arsenal at this point. So I think, for me, time is up. If he doesn't get the job done, the results coming for Arsenal, he should be let go.
So who should they get in his place if he's let go?
I mean, Antonio Conte is actually available. Maybe they wouldn't tell him to win them titles. Maybe they wouldn't tell him to actually, But
do you think Conte will be willing to work with the crop of players that he had?
I think it has to do with the agreement between himself and the Arsenal body. If they do promise him, okay, just get us to a very reasonable position this season, and when the transfer opens again, probably next summer, in January, we will get you quality players. Maybe that would actually work out. But hey, at this point in time, they need someone that would actually save them from going down the drain, because it's looking like very soon they might just discover oil.
Arsenal digging to discover oil, according to Feromi. Shout out to Bello Ibrahim Omotaya, who is watching us live on Facebook this morning. Shout out to Kayode Alabi, Oladejo Sodiq. Good morning to you too, and also to Oluremi Matthew Abimbola. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Okay, and Bayern Munich, doing what Bayern Munich does, really raiding their their opponents for their best legs. They have completed the signing of Marcel Sabitzer on a 4-year deal. The Austrian midfielder spent 7 years at Leipzig, helping the club establish themselves as a force after their promotion to the top flight in 2016. And as well as Sabitzer and Upamecano, Bayern have this summer signed the English left-back Omar Richards and former Germany under-21 goalkeeper Sven Ulreich, who was previously at the Bavarians between 2015 to 2020 after they left Reading and Hamburg. And then the West Ham are in talks to sign CSKA Moscow's £25 million rated playmaker Nikola Vlasic, and Leeds are in advanced talks with Manchester United over the permanent signing of forward Daniel James for about £30 million. Is it the presence of Ronaldo scaring these guys away?
I think it's just it. I mean, it's not looking like there is a place for them right there in the Manchester United squad, unless maybe based on the fact that there's going to be a lot of games, shuffling of players and all that. But all things being equal, on paper, it's not looking like they would definitely get something in that squad. Even the likes of Lingard, Martial, I'm scared for them at this point in time, because hey, there's a big fish in town.
Okay, big fish in town. That means that we might be seeing plenty of movement. We will be seeing actually plenty of movements before the end of the day as we continue with transfer deadline day. Watford captain Troy Deeney says he feels tremendous pride for everything he has achieved at the club after bringing his 11-year spell at the Vicarage Road to an end. Mr. Co Jones is moving to his boyhood club, Birmingham, after he agreed a 2-year deal. We have to leave this morning. What is that one transfer you can't wait to see today?
Today, I would really love to see Mbappe move, but then it's going to be a very, very difficult one. Okay,
thank you very much for joining us on Sports Bank this morning. We'll be back here for the second half of the show at 6:30 p.m. My name is Blessing Fowowe, and I've worked with Feromi Adeboyega this morning. Have a great Tuesday. Au revoir.
Splash FM 105.5.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning, getting set for another day. Another challenge.